So Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve have a little dilemma to go through. After all these bank failures, they have to decide whether they care more about the inflation or the bank failures, right? So if they raise the rate, so next in 2 weeks, I think on the 22nd, they have to decide if they're going to raise the discount rate again to 5%. If they do that, right, well, that's supposed to tamp down inflation, because inflation came down a little bit, but it's still kind of there. I mean, we're still having inflation. I think it's going down, but not as much as they want to. It's still a factor. Okay, now the second part is, if they raise the rates, that means all the bonds that the banks own that use to backstop the assets are going to go down in value again. Because remember, if you buy a bond, it's a fixed rate. If rates go up, the value of your bond is still paying that lower rate, so it's worth less. So all of a sudden, the bank's deposits, their assets go down and they take a hit. So we have to decide this, right? Not we, I don't have to do anything. Jerome Powell and the Fed have to decide what are they worried about? Are they worried about inflation more, or the couple of bank failures? Now, remember I said before in my video that those three banks were almost specific situations where they kind of screwed up a little bit, okay? It is the situation because when they raise rates, there's pressure. And we knew this was coming when they're raising rates. We knew the bonds were going to drop, but I guess nobody counted for it. Now, the third part of this is, if they decide not to raise rates, does that send the signal that they're very worried about bank failure? That's the problem. So I think the deal, what's going to happen is, here are the three choices. Raise the rates, and then it hurts the banks, but it kills some inflation, which is what you want. Second choice is, don't raise the rates, help the banks, but maybe inflation pops up again. Third situation, don't raise the rates and let people think that the banks are more in trouble than we think, because that's going to be the signal that we're afraid to raise the rates on the banks again. So that's a dilemma. I think what's going to happen, it seems of it, they're going to raise 25 basis points, and then they're going to say, that's kind of it, and we're going to let it go. And then I think that's going to be it. They're not going to raise any more, and they're going to find another way to tighten inflation. Because remember, the other thing they can do that a lot of people don't realize, people in the business do, I guess, is that they can sell treasuries without raising the rate. Every day they can just unload their balance sheet and sell treasuries, and that would take some money away from the banks too, without being so like boom in your face. We're trying to screw the rates up. Anyway, I hope that helps a little bit. I hope to see you on Tuesday and Thursday nights, 8:30 p.m. for any licensing exam. I should tell you where. YouTube under Capital Advantage Tutoring.